In this video, I'm going to go over the steps on creating a lesson in e-learning or Moodle 2.3. The lesson module presents a series of HTML pages to the student who is usually asked to make some sort of choice underneath the content area. And the choice will send them to a specific page in the lesson. So basically, in Moodle, we are used to using a bunch of resources posted out there for the students. Those resources can be PDFs, they can be videos, they can be assignments and that type of stuff. So by using a lesson, what you can do is that you can put all of these together in a format that can look similar to this or even better than this. So for example, you can give the students what you're covering in this lesson. Then you can give them a link to download the PowerPoint. You can post study tips, a guide, or different topics that you're covering. And then you can have a video for the students to download and watch. And then once the student watches this video or this content or reads that PDF file or reads the directions from somewhere, then they can proceed to an assessment section. So this is done in a variety of what's called content pages and assessment pages. Here's another example. So the content pages, they can be more than one. For example, as in this case, we have like getting started with PowerPoint. There's one content page, and then we have the theme, for example, applying a theme to PowerPoint, and then once they watch those two videos, the student can go and take an assessment. So they proceed to the second section. They watch this. They have more content in this section. Now they move to the assessment area when they are ready. And then the student answers these questions. The nice thing is that the system will give you reports and also allow you to grade the essays, the essay questions from that lesson. And then the grades can be entered in the grade book. So in this video, I'm going to go through all of those steps on how to create the lesson, how to post the content, and so on. This type of tool is very powerful in distance learning courses or online courses. So here's how it's done. You go to the course page, and then you go and turn editing on. Then under a specific topic, click on Add an activity or resource. Choose Lesson. Click on Add. Then you give it a name for this lesson. So you could say Lesson. You can specify the time limit that you want to allow the students to view this. And then also the deadline. The deadline, if you enable the deadline, what that means is that the student will not be able to access this lesson past that deadline. Then down here under the grade area, you specify how you're going to grade this lesson. And this would be for the assessment part. So let's say we're going to grade it against 10 points. And then you'd go under the category for this type of lesson. So in this case, I do not have a category set up. Then you have the practice lesson, yes or no, whether you want to allow the students to practice. And if you do not want the grade to appear in the grade book, you just specify it as a practice lesson. And then retakes allowed, you can specify how many times the student can retake. This means also the assessment part. So let's say we want to allow them to retake, and then also how you're going to grade, as you grade this multiple times, how you're going to grade this assignment. Technically, you can leave all these options alone actually at this point, but you can tinker further with them. And also, I'm not going to go through all the options here, but you can click on these question marks and that will display further information. And then we click on Save and Display. So far, all we are doing is just creating the shell for this lesson. At this point, we are presented with this menu here. So we have this lesson called What's a Computer? And now it's asking us, what do you want to do first? Do we want to bring in questions, add content pages and question pages and so on? So it's kind of confusing actually the way these are here. However, the easiest is just simply click on Add a Content Page. And then this is what will be the title of the page. So here we say, what is a computer? And then in this area, this is where you post the content for that specific page of your lesson. So in here, you could have links, for example, to your PDF documents. You could have a description as to what a computer is and all that type of stuff. So let me go and copy and paste some content in here. You could have this already in your lecture notes, so you could simply copy and paste the content in this section and just paste it there as the content. Then further down, you could also put, here are the PowerPoint notes. We could say the PowerPoint can be downloaded from here. And by the way, it's a good idea to post the PowerPoint, because some students, they like to access and take notes on the PowerPoint itself. So at this point, what we do to upload the PowerPoint, we simply click on this hyperlink, insert link, and then we can either put the URL for the page if it were a web page, or we can click on Browse here and then choose File, and then you'll go to wherever your PowerPoint is. And let's say this is the PowerPoint. Then we click on Upload and then simply Insert. From here, you can add additional content as well. So one of the things that I'd recommend is that you give the students directions as to how they can study or utilize the lesson better. So for example, sometimes I put these directions in here. So I say copy and paste the outline below and then follow the content on the video. For example, if they are watching a video lecture. And then further down, sometimes I post an outline for the lesson that we are covering here today. And then beyond here, you could actually upload the video. So let's assume that this is the content for now, and we'll come back to uploading the video in a moment here. So these links can be PowerPoints, they can be PDF documents, but notice that we are putting them in a logical order so that it makes more sense for the students rather than having just a link there. Notice it says here Content 1. Below the content page, it says Content 1, and then it says Description. Unfortunately, it would be nicer actually to say something like that, Navigation 1 or something like that, because this is basically the buttons that the system is going to put in the bottom of that lesson. So for example, if I go here to one of my existing lessons, it's this button right here, what that Content 1 is. So here's how we put in the button. We click on it, let's say we say here, proceed to next page. And then it says here, jump, and then this page, you want to change that to jump to the next page. So that what that means is that when a student clicks on proceed to next page button, then the system will take them actually to the next page. You can also have options like for content 2, content 3, and so on, that these would be additional buttons in the bottom. Like if you had links to multiple pages of that lesson. So for now, let's keep it simple. We have the content of the lesson, and then we have the button in the bottom telling it that when the student clicks on it, it will take them to the next page. And then scroll all the way to the bottom and then click on Save Page. So currently we have one content page here. So right now it will look like this. We click on Preview and notice it will look just like a regular web page. Now let's say we want to make this fancier. And by the way, this is the Proceed to the Next Page button. If the student clicks on it, it will take them to the end of it. Let's say we want to modify this first page and make it fancier, either upload a video or sound file or something of that nature. We click on Edit. And then you can click on this edit icon again, because there will be multiple pages for this lesson. So you'll need to click on the Edit under Action here, this pencil. And somewhere in this page, we want to insert, let's say, a video. So if we wanted to insert a video, what you'd do is you'd click on the Moodle Media here, this icon, and then click on Find or Upload Sound or Video. Then you browse for the video, and for the sake of time here, let me take the one small video here. You'll select the video. It has to be an MP4 or some kind of video format, popular video format. You click on open, then click on upload. It will give us a preview of how that video is going to look, and then we simply click on insert. At this point, it's going to post this link, and then we have to proceed to the next page as we remember from before, and then we click on save page. Now, all we did at this point was that we took this existing page and we just added an additional video to it to make it richer. So notice now at this point we have the lesson, an outline for the lesson, and then a link for the video. Now the student could actually click on this icon right here to make it full screen, or they can play it directly from here. They can forward it and so on. So now let's learn how to add another page to this lesson. Let's say that first we wanted to actually add an assessment part for this video. So to add an assessment part, all you have to do is you go under the Edit tab here. Notice we have already one page. Now we click on Edit tab and then click on the drop down here and choose Question. Under the question type, we can choose multiple choice or true and false. So personally, I prefer essay questions. However, you can do any of those. So for example, if you do true and false, for the sake of time here, just click on Add a new question page. Under the page contents, this is where you'll post the question that the student will see. For example, if it's a true and false question, then you'll craft your true and false actual question right here. And then under correct answer or correct response, this is where you'll put the answer. And if they hit this, then this is the score that they will get. So you could put there 5 points or 2 points or 10 points. So, but you have to remember how many points you designed your lesson. Then notice here, if the student clicks on true, what happens when they click on it? So you're telling the computer to move to the next page. And for the wrong answer, so you put that'll be the second option, false. And then if a student chooses false, this is where you would put what needs to happen. So you want to send them to the next page. So if you choose false, send them to the next page because they completed this part of it, and then give them a score of 0. Now notice there are also areas here where you can put the responses. So as soon as the student hits true, you can display here, let's say, yes, that is correct. So this is what the student will see when they fill it out, when they choose true. If they choose false, you could just put part of this under the response. And then click on Save. So when you're done, you click on Save. Now at this point, you technically could also include another page here as part of the lesson. So if I click on Add a new page, choose Add a content page, and now I could have something related to how do computers work, or types of computers. And you could go on and on here, basically. You could put directions, a link to the PowerPoint, upload it. Let's say that's the right one. A brief summary or outline of what the lesson is going to cover. And below here you could put additional resources, or you could put a link to a video. Now, in this section I'm going to show you how to actually post a link to a YouTube video. So for example, let's go to YouTube here on another tab. So it's nothing fancy here, I'm just simply going to YouTube. So here's the video, and now what you can do is that you can click on Share here and then click on Embed. So what we're learning to do is how to embed the video so it's part of the lesson. However, the video will be hosted somewhere else, particularly in YouTube out there. This, you could use it for public videos that are available, or you could have your personal YouTube channel and share those videos with a link that is not available to the rest of the world. So if we click on embed, all you have to do is you copy this code at this point, copy the code, Control-C, and now we come back to e-learning. Once we get back to e-learning, now instead of you just simply pasting it in there, otherwise it's going to look like that, what you want to do is you actually want to paste this into a special area here by clicking on HTML, because that is HTML code, and you want to paste it directly as part of the HTML code. So click on update, and now notice the video has been posted. If I wanted to go and change the dimensions of it, I can go back to the HTML and then change the dimensions, for example 850 by 480. Now you have to do this proportionally, otherwise it will be kind of not very balanced. So now that's a video, that's a lecture supposedly. Now what we do here under the content 1, we say proceed to assessment 2. Again, this is just going to be a button where the student will be clicking. Then it says once the student clicks on this button, what do you want the computer to do? So you want them to go to the next page. You could also randomize pages. You could send them to another page from the beginning, so we're going to have only one button here, and then click on save. This is the new page we created. We have PowerPoint, we have the directions, and you could put more text in there. Then we have the video, and then we have different options here. So here's how it will look. You can click on preview, and notice it's the first page with a video that we simply uploaded to e-learning. This was not the embedding video, this we just uploaded. Then it will go to the next page. Under proceed to the next page, the student will answer a question, then they will submit the answer. You'll get some feedback. So this is the feedback that we entered in that feedback area earlier. And then they'll continue. Now it takes them to the next one. And then notice how there is proceed to the assessment 2 when ready. If we have an assessment 2, so we have to create that piece, we do not have that available, or more buttons here that we defined earlier. Now again, you can go back under edit and add more pages here. So if I wanted another assessment page, go under question, choose essay, click on add a question, and say, of course this would be needing to be more concrete here. For example, it could be something like that. Based on the video, you can give them points and choose save page. Now the nice thing is that if you go back to the e-learning gradebook here, or to this course, all it is one item, and this item has multiple pages to it. Those pages can be sequential, or they can be with the flexibility for the student to jump from one page to the other. So the possibilities here are limitless. Another thing that you can do is you can go under reports, and then the system will display the reports of, and here is a real lesson here from our class. So this was the video or the lesson. It was 10 minutes long and 8 minutes for the assessment. So the students have a link to the PowerPoint, directions, they can download the video, watch it online, and then they proceed to the assessment area. Now once they proceed to the assessment area, you'll notice that it gives you how long the students it took them to complete this lesson and what time they completed it. So notice by default the average time was 24 minutes and 34 seconds, even though I had defined it that it was going to take only 18 minutes. Now you can also, since those were essay questions, you could go under grade essays and then pick one of those and basically just grade it. So that's how the whole lesson component works. It's very powerful, and it may seem a little bit complicated to start with, but it's very powerful, and once you get the hang of it, it's very easy. Once you have created a lesson, is that you can actually duplicate this lesson, so you don't have to go through all these processes and procedures all the time, all over and over again. So let's say I define this lesson 1 the way I wanted it. Now I can click here under this duplicate icon here, and you can, by the way, do this for any type of activity. Click on duplicate, click on continue, and then all you have to do is just change the name of the lesson after I click on return to the course, and just rename this. So just click on the edit title and make this lesson 2. Hit enter, and then click on it on the lesson 2, and now you can simply go and just edit some of the components here. For example, the directions will still be the same, and additional resources, for example, and so on. You want to keep those pages so you don't have to recreate them. All you can do is go under edit and simply modify that page, so you don't have to create all these pages. You have like a template, and you can simply copy and paste the content. So this is where the usefulness comes into play. You could technically go here, erase that section, and then copy some additional information in there. And I'm simply copying and pasting for now, but you could just copy stuff like that. You have the directions already. Then if you're going to upload a different video, you just erase this and simply go and pick a different video to upload. Then you click on insert, add additional resources, change the links if you needed to, but you shouldn't have to change the links because they were working before. And then you can just go and change, for example, the true and false question. You can just reword the question. You can change the feedback, click on save and change. So basically, you use the template, you recreate the lesson, and just modify that existing template of that from the skeleton or the content that you had from lesson 1 to lesson 2. So this should save you a lot of time and also make teaching and using the e-learning system much more powerful, particularly for online courses. I understand that this might not cover everything here. However, I'm willing and available for sitting down with you and discussing further these options on how to better use the lesson feature in e-learning. It is, again, one of the components that we'd like you to use for online and hybrid courses.